ugly, I don't have any friends, I don't even speak to women, I can't even hold eye contact with a woman. Can't take it anymore, man. This fucking sucks, I hate my life. What the fuck? It could be so much, look so much better. It could. Looksmaxx. Holy shit, why didn't I think of that? What? Okay, Looksmaxx, I'm gonna go Looksmaxx. Now, I had an obsession with the Sigma male at my secondary school. I used to be the guy in the hallways that would walk thinking I was Patrick Bateman. You know that always scene? Of course you do. And I used to even have his haircut, sort of. It was like a comb over and there was a little bit more hair down here, and I went deep into this. And in fact, I even won the award at my school for having a double life, meaning that I was probably an assassin at night or something like Batman. And I was fucking good at this. I was good at hiding all of my insecurities because, quite frankly, I'm gonna be honest, at the time I was completely ridden, full of this potent insecurity. Insecurity that I wasn't good enough, I need to bulk more, I need to get bigger, I need these people to respect me. And so I learnt how to be powerful. I learnt the body language, I learnt the way of speaking, I learnt the charisma of a powerful person. I went deep into research online into these channels like Charisma on Command to learn how to be a powerful individual, how to speak with charisma, and this helped because I faked it until I made it. And most people fell for this facade of mine. Most people thought that I was this intelligent but very, very quiet person. That perhaps I was a high secret service agent or some shit, some secretive guy, because I would never speak in class. And whenever I did speak, I would speak with charisma and slowly. And I would never go like, so today we're gonna do this presentation. No. I was speaking very, very slowly. I moved very, very slowly. I turned my head very, very slowly. But then college came along and it was time to leave my secondary school to move on to my new college life. And this was half and half. You see, I was sort of on the fence with it. College as a whole, it's you got so much assignments, you have to do so much homework at home. It's gonna take away my energy from the things I actually want to do.
Bro, I can't focus on my maths work. Bro, how is this gonna retire my mum? How is this gonna stop my mum from waking up in a cold ass morning at 6 o'clock and walking to work because her car broke down?
But then I also get to go into this college with a new mold, meaning there are new strangers that don't know anything about me. They don't know that I'm this silent guy. They're not scared of me. They don't know my past. And so me with my potent charisma that I've been practicing for years in secondary school, I enter college into my first lesson. And this lesson is full of the opposite gender. And at the time I was freaking out going into this classroom. I was like, am I in the right classroom? Is this like an all girls classroom? But as I sat down, I realized no, this is the class because the teacher pronounces the subject and it's the room. And so we go through this entire exercise. Keep in mind, I still have my old mindset, right? I've literally never had a 5-minute conversation with a woman before. And because it was the first lesson, we were introduced to each other. We weren't really taking the lesson seriously. We were playing mostly games to get used to each other, you know, learn people's names. And something that I noticed was that a lot of the females were actually nice to me. They were actually treating me as if I was attractive. And I've already been going gym a lot at that point, and you're not in the school uniform anymore, so you get to choose your style. And I was, learning how to style myself better with fashion, and it was life-changing. Because for the first time in my life, someone actually saw me for who I was, saw me for the updated version of myself, saw me for the true me. They didn't have this pre-assumptive attitude towards me. They didn't have this, oh, Benji's a silent guy. He seems really scary. He's always alone. No, they treated me as me. And so this, after a few more months of breaking out of my mold in this classroom, I am now completely and utterly a different person with a different mindset than I used to have in secondary school.
现在才开始。
用了张酒电话咯，不
不
会用的。
去，不是，我现在才按到，现在才开始走，叫婆婆先。
I, in fact, not to toot my own horn, am probably the most charismatic public speaker in that room. But then fast forward a couple more months, and I'm sitting at home at my couch, scrolling through YouTube on my TV, and I come across a video that has a good amount of views and a very aesthetically pleasing, nice facial features man on the thumbnail, and the title was PSL God Ecstasy or something. And essentially what these were edits of highly attractive GQ models, male models. And I clicked on it just out of curiosity, and because I've had a long past of edits, right? You know, those reject degeneracy and embrace masculinity edits. It was basically like that. And this was weird because I felt the same feeling when I was addicted to the Sigma content. The same potent energy of curiosity and wanting to go deep into the niche and extract every good piece of information, every piece of advice that would make me look like a GQ model. And so I knew what this could do to me. I knew how deep this could make me go down a rabbit hole. But here's the thing. I still let it take me. I still let it lead me on because I was curious to see how deep this rabbit hole could go. And just from a few days of letting the YouTube algorithm reprogram itself to Looksmaxxing content, PSL God content, I discovered things like gel king, things like curling your eyelashes, things like a purple toothpaste, things like picking your eyebrows or icing your eyes or putting spoons on your eyes, or even some type of supplement that you could eat and maybe your skin would be better, maybe your jawline would be more apparent. And I just can't help but think of my 14-year-old self, obsessed with the Sigma, relating to the Patrick Bateman as an idol, such a malleable individual, such a easily programmable child, to be dragged into this Looksmaxxing and become one of these motherfuckers that spend so much time picking out their eyelashes, curling your eyelash, having a 7-step skincare routine instead of working on his business to hopefully retire his mum, but to spend all of that time, his teenage years, where he can basically do anything. He can go party if he wants. He has a lot of time. These years where You're practically living off of your parents like a parasite, and you don't really have to work. You are wasting this time improving your looks when probably puberty is gonna do most of it anyways. Now the truth of this is, you have to realize that Looksmaxxing is only the first stage of the game. The game of attraction, the game of respect from other dudes because they see that you're a stud, right? But you have to realize that with Looksmaxxing, you'll really only get as far as a few glances from a woman, and in a rare case scenario with an outlandish girl that you probably wouldn't even want to date anyways. A girl that straight up goes up to you and asks you out. Now upon editing this, I realize many of you may actually like a girl to ask you out, go up to you and ask you out. Oh, I think you're really handsome, I think you're really confident. I would like that as well, especially my 13-year-old self, but you have to realize that as a man, most girls aren't willing to actually do that. It's just one of those things where, bro, if 13-year-old me heard that, I would be on fire. I'd be like, no, I want a girl to ask me out. But the way a girl asks you out, the way most girls ask you out, is they drop the handkerchief. That's what I've been saying for a long time, and they drop the handkerchief by staring or fucking moving to your table a little bit, and that's how they ask you out. And you have to make the move ultimately. And if you don't believe me, I've felt this firsthand. I felt this in one of my classes where it is mostly women, and I use my charisma tactics from, years of fucking being a degenerate cave, basement dweller, studying online how to be more charismatic, be more powerful. And I've learned to tell authentic stories, and the way I tell my stories are so engaging that I am actually getting a lot of attraction from the woman in that room. And so my point is ultimately that Looksmaxxing is good, yes. You'll get the woman to think you're a Chad or whatever. First impressions matter, don't get me wrong. But you have to realize that you have to start reading books like this, The Way of the Superior Man by David Dida. If you've ever been in the self-improvement space, like every single self-improvement YouTuber pretty much preaches this book. Like Iman Gyaji, Hamza, they all preach The Way of the Superior Man for learning the ins and outs of a healthy relationship. So if you read that book, you'll understand the female and the male dynamics, the masculine energy and the feminine energy. So like the dominant and the submissive, basically. If you want to fuck a woman, then this is the book you have to read. And this doesn't have to be exactly like male is dominant and female is submissive. You can have it the other way around, but generally the most, how do I say this? The most effective, the most biologically correct way of doing this is having the male to be a dominant and the female to be submissive. You can have it the other way around, but then you'd have the dynamic of like your mum, basically. You need mummy to fucking feed you or some shit like that. And secondly is, you have to realize that a lot of these people online claiming to have a insane Mew transformation, they used to have a retrograde, if that's even a word, jawline, and now they have an insane Giga Chad jawline with dimples and fucking, the hollow cheeks like this shit. And they claim this, but they just went to gym and they just grew up. That's basically it. And of course, maybe they fixed their diet and now their skin's looking better. That's literally it. Only a few things. And this is really where my self-improvement businessman mindset comes in. What if you got the bare minimum, most effective skincare routine with only like 2 items that really, really affect your face and how they look? And what if you spend that time cold approaching women? What if you spend that time studying how to be charismatic? This is just a way of being efficient, right? What if you put all in every single one of your resources, your time, your money into the gym, learning how to hit your muscles better, learning how to get a more aesthetic physique, learning the more muscle engaging techniques? What if you did that instead of searching for the next supplement like beta carotene or some shit? And so with that being said, this is my segue to the next section. lot of people online will tell you that, you know, just go into the gym, get a V-taper, and that is the base of it. But recently I've been training traps and neck, and I just wanted to tell you that it's made a significant difference. You see, before I was spamming the side delts with the lateral raise, you know, getting those big fucking Death Star delts, right? It didn't look whole. It didn't look complete. The picture was a little bit off. And that was until I realized that my neck isn't actually proportional to my body. And so I did what you would probably do, is go on YouTube, look at the neck training exercises, and that's what I did for a good couple of weeks. Not to mention, it actually adds to the perception that you are a stronger man. You are more capable of lifting weight rather than just being this aesthetic soy boy. But obviously it's not gonna make you an absolute stud with neck and trap training. It's just gonna make you a little bit more whole. So how do we go ahead and get this amazing body of ours that will get glances from every single woman that walks by on the street? First, we have to master the aesthetic V-taper, and this is pretty much common sense. You just have to be hitting gym, you know, consistently, maybe 3 times a week, maybe 5-6 times a week, depends on your split. You just have to be consistent, right? And then you'll be like 90% of the way there. But what I will say for the aesthetic V-taper is, don't let anybody stop you from doing a lot of lateral raises. The only thing you have to keep in mind if you want to spam is you have to do rear delts along with it. Rear delts being the machine that goes like that, or you can use cables like that, and this is simply your back shoulder. You can literally just Google up how to work your rear delts and you should be good, because that keeps your whole entire like posture up if you have good rear delts. Now, as for the neck and the trap, neck is very easy. You basically just have to curl your neck in all 4 directions. So curl this bit, curl this bit, curl this bit, curl this bit, and essentially it goes something like this, and that would be working this, and then you can imagine what it would look like for all 4 directions. The back, I think you need some amount of weight, or you can just put your hands there, because the back part is a whole lot stronger than any of these 3. And the trap, ultimately I think the best grip is the bar weight. It's like a square, kind of, it's like a square. You stand in the square, and then there's 2 sides for you to put weights on, and some people use that for deadlift. I'm not sure what it exactly is called, but the whole point of using that bar is to have your arms like out to the side like that. You gotta have your arms out a little bit. You can't just be like straight arm like that. That just doesn't activate traps a lot, at least for me. And a bonus tip in this section here is that you should really only buy clothes when you're a little bit older. You feel that your body aesthetic transformation is finally complete. You can have this body for the rest of your life, this muscularity. Then go ahead and spend money on clothes. Spend lots of money on, you know, lifestyle setup, your fucking long coats, your turtlenecks or whatever, so that you won't outgrow it, or like, you know, bulk and, you know, cut down, and then the clothes just look weird on you. You have to realize that there is a critical period of mewing. Obviously, it's still gonna work if you've been mouth breathing your whole entire life and you're like 25 years old now and you start mewing for a good couple of months, you're gonna see a transformation, right? But the most transformational period, aka the period where you should be mewing the most, is actually in your teens during puberty. You see, I was once a flat-faced mouth breather. Now I have a pretty decent side profile. I didn't used to have this. It used to be straight up like that. For example, if you just look up the character Mob Psycho, he's this like anime character. I used to watch anime, right? Just bear with me. And essentially he had this like bowl cut, and his face is just completely round, whereas now it's like I've got a little bit more of an angularity, you know, a V shape. It used to be a straight fucking round, and if I were to turn to the side, it's literally flat like that. And the source of that degrading jawline, fat chubby face is 2 things. One is shit diet, which we're going to talk about a little bit later on, and the mouth breathing. You see, for my whole life essentially, I've always had nose problems, and I've just thought that mouth breathing was easier because I could get more oxygen in. But now I realize that mewing and nose breathing, even if you're doing hard exercise that requires you to breathe your mouth, still try to breathe with your nose, because nose breathing takes in more oxygen, whether you like it or not. Personally, I've always found that having a convenient hairstyle was the best. What I mean by this is a haircut that doesn't require too much maintenance, too much, gel in the morning, washing. And I've always found that this type of hairstyle is the best for me. Essentially, this haircut is so good because, it's just above your eyes. It doesn't go into your eyes. You don't have to put any fucking sea salt spray into the hair, because no matter what wind this hairstyle blows in and, I look clapped or whatever, I can literally just do this and it's back to almost normal, right? And it's so easy. If you constantly worry about how your hair looks, this like slight centimeter off the direction it's supposed to be, the fucking twirl in your hair is supposed to be here, but then it's ended up here through some wind, and now you're fucking panicking over it, now you're anxious over it, and then you go into the classroom and you already have this preconceived thought in your mind that you're going to be anxious, people are not going to like you as much because your hair is literally 2 inches this way rather than that way. It's a whole bunch of mental stress saved if you just have a convenient haircut. The only things you actually need to make a drastic difference in your skin. And before I go into any tips, if you're noticing that I have lots of spots, it's because I'm a teenager. I'm a teenager with teenage hives or whatever you call it. I'm not sure if it's exactly hives, but every teenager, from what I've found from being around teenagers all the time, they almost always have a period of having a lot of spots, especially the males. You see, there was once upon a time in my life where I had like a perfect diet. 1 meal per day, and it was just meat and vegetables, keto diet, cleanest diet I've ever fucking had. And I still had spots at that time. And it's just a thing you have to go through, because if you just look this up on Google, it's only really until you get into your early 20s that your spots begin to fade away and you actually start to get pretty clear skin. But as a teenager, there's not really anything much you can do other than these 3 tips I'm going to give you now. One is clear up your diet. Let me just give you an example. So there's this guy in one of my classes in college, and he's hench as fuck. He's got arms the size of my head and thighs. And, the other day I asked him, do you dirty bulk or clean bulk? And to my non-surprise, he said fuck clean bulking, and the only thing he does is dirty bulk. And although he's hench, guess what? Man looks a little bit like a Clash of Clans barbarian. If you just look this up, Clash of Clans barbarian, and except he's got like a bunch of fucking weird deformity, acne, spots on his face, and it's just overall, I don't think there is a single woman that likes that. If you don't understand it, and it's not like a whole food, you can't read it or you can't understand it, most likely it is harming you. Most likely it is giving you that shit face. And probably the worst ingredient here is sugar. Sugar's making your fucking acne worse. It's feeding your acne, it feeds cancer. And the other 2 things are the actual skincare routine products. And I'm not gonna sell you any products, I'm just gonna name you the name type of product. So 1 is exfoliator and 2 is moisturizer. The reason why, if you're really into these skincare products and you know a whole lot about them, you'll see that I'm missing a product. The facial wash, and then you exfoliate, and then you put the moisturizer on because your face is dry after the exfoliation. However, once again, with my efficient brain, I believe that what is the exfoliator? What is the exfoliator? Think about it. It literally cleans up your face. Why do you need a facial wash before you exfoliate if you're just going to scrub off all of the dirty shit anyways? Because exfoliator, the main part of the exfoliator is probably the seeds, the quinoa, if that's how you say it, seeds that they put in there, and then you can scrub your face. And there's this like sandy texture of all these seeds on your face that you can scrub off the dead skin cells. But what is the other ingredient in there, other than the seeds that exfoliate your face? What is that? That's literally there to clean your face. Just do yourself a favor and buy exfoliator and a moisturizer. Just exfoliate with like warm water on your face and then apply the moisturizer afterwards. That's just as a brand recommendation. I know I said I wasn't gonna do this, but I don't have any affiliate links. I won't leave any links down below that will get me any promotions. just look up Bulldog. This is a pretty good brand, better than any I've seen. You know, of all of the other ingredients that have fucking colorings in there, why? Bulldog has been the best. Even if it does have fragrance, it's got like a star mark next to the fragrance, which means you can look up what is actually in their fragrance on the website, and you'll find that it isn't bad at all.
So you've watched this far into the video, and perhaps this means you like me, like my channel, like my content, like the value I'm giving. So why don't you check out my other video called Self-Improvement Influencers? It is one of the most revealing YouTube videos on YouTube that isn't getting enough recognition, which I take full responsibility for. It's probably the packaging, thumbnail, title, whatever. Essentially, there's some very interesting information in there that I think you'll find fascinating, because you'll have never heard it before. What these influencers, these certain influencers like Hamza and Iman, what they are actually like. If that sounds interesting, check it out in the description below. In a bit.